How will the company look in 2 years' time?
Well, it'll be more profitable. We will basically have delivered a strategy around making journalism the key to this business. The model that defined Fairfax for 150 more years was essentially a monopoly around print classifieds. That's fundamentally gone. And so what Fairfax has done is, over the last 15, 20 years, fundamentally redefined its business model. And we are now a news media and digital transactions company. See, the journalism was something which was a decision of the proprietor to add on to the core business. What made the money was not so much the journalism, but the classifieds, and it was a creation of a market. You know, no company through this, media company through this process has made all the right decisions. But what we did early on was put our news online and capture leadership online through the news media. Now, in the US, it was a different story. But the Sydney Morning Herald is the leading news media online site. And that was because of early decisions by this company to translate our journalism online. Now, because we now have that audience, and we've created that audience, we can now leverage that through our business model.
The narrative, particularly for the last couple of years, has been a Fairfax that seems to be kind of drifting here and there rather than navigating its way through this. You're saying that's an unfair picture of
No, I
the
think,
Fairfax that
look,
you know?
I think it is. I mean, I think that quite clearly that there has been major contributions by everybody in the company along this journey. I mean, it's not an easy journey. I mean, how many companies fundamentally lose their business model? How many do that? Remake it and continue to prosper.
Are you still at heart a newspaper man?
I mean, you know, at heart a journalist. You know, I like to find the story. And, you know, you find the story of this company and it's a fascinating story.
Another addition to the platform is the new set of apps which you've launched in the last few days. Do you agree with those who've characterised them as being the saving of newspapers or of newspaper journalism?
I don't know. I mean, why would you have to save journalism? I mean, journalism.
Okay, let me put it in a different way.
Journalism
the saviour
will
of the newspaper model.
Look, basically, what we have is as I said, we have overarching brands. We have a print product. We have an online product. We have now a tablet, a very successful tablet. We've had in excess of 75,000 downloads in a week.
So that number again, 75,000?
More than 75,000
This is across
in a
both
week.
the Herald and the Age?
Herald and the Age. More than 1.5 million page impressions a day. Now, we see that as highly successful, and just to prove that there's a market there and there's a market for the quality app of the sort that we do. This is a phenomenally successful news media app, and that's after a week. The interesting thing about the iPad and the tablets is that normally in publishing, what you do is that you identify a market and create a product for it. And this is different. There's a piece of technology and you create a product for the technology in the expectation that there'll be a market. So all publishers are moving into this technology in the expectation that there's a market. So we're in the early days of seeing its level of attraction, how the stickiness of the audience, the advertising model that will be appropriate for that. I mean, what the tablet has done is re-prosecute for publishers the issue of paid online content. Because if you've got a tablet, you've got a browser and you've got an app. So you can go into a free online site or a paid app site. So quite clearly you have to get that balance, and that's what we're all exploring.
And do you have a sense yet of how big a proportion of the market tablets can be? Some people have said to me, it'll just be a rounding error against online. Do you see it as being bigger than that? You know, in other words, is it a distraction to spend too much time on tablets?
It's a question you can't easily answer. What you do have, however, you have some very big players committed to this technology. I mean, you have some very big global players committed to this technology. Now, it has embedded capabilities which provide phenomenal consumer experience. Now, I had in our launch down in Melbourne, a very senior media buyer say to me, "Does this mean we can put TV ads in the newspaper?" Answer, yes.
We've talked about the mastheads having slightly different brand personalities on different platforms. I wonder, would the Herald or the Age come to that work as well as a brand in a compact format as they would in a broadsheet format?
Look, I suppose my view about these things is it's the issue around the journalism and the content. I mean, the Financial Review's a tabloid. There's nothing magical about the format. There's issues of convenience which validate a smaller model. These are the sorts of product development issues that you work through as a company and that you have to address. Now, I'm not saying anything's going to happen one way or the other. I'm just saying that this is the thinking that we have to do.
There's been a lot of rumours over the last 12 months or so about possible sharing of production and production costs. How seriously is Fairfax considering that?
Well, I think every publisher wants to do things as efficiently as possible because quite clearly, and you know, the sorts of decisions we've made as a company recently are really all about making sure that you allocate your resources where you get the best competitive advantage. The resources in our company should be maximised in terms of the journalism and the content. And that is why we made decisions in editorial production to make sure that we can unlock funds that we could invest in writing and reporting and design. So I mean, it's about making sure that you unlock what you need to do. And so what gives you competitive advantage? And look, the days are gone when there were a few free-to-air networks, a handful of free-to-air networks, the Women's Weekly, the Women's Day and the Metro newspapers. I mean, this is not the competitive market we live in. It hasn't been for some years and it's just getting more and more fragmented. So you actually have to allocate your resources where they're going to work for you.
And we've heard of News's plans this morning for paid content. When can we expect to hear something from Fairfax about what you guys are going to do, or are you adopting a wait-and-see approach and seeing how it works with News before you make a decision?
There's no first mover advantage here. We have a very strong online display advertising business. In fact, we're a market leader in terms of display online advertising, and so we're happy. We're happy with that position, and we'll make the decision at the appropriate time.
It's on public record that your initial salary certainly was $200,000 a month. Are you good value?
Oh, I hope so, but I mean, we'll see, won't we?